For this reason I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth takes its name. I pray that according to the riches of his glory, he may grant that you may be strengthened in your inner being with power through his Spirit, and that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, as you are being rooted and grounded in love. Ephesians chapter 3, verses 14 through 17. This is my lower rack from a Maytag dishwasher. I would like to be able to buy another one to replace it, but they have been discontinued and I can't find where to get one. So the dishwasher still works fine. You can see that there are some places on this that are pretty bad where I've actually let it go too long and broke the metal piece out. So what I came up with to kind of support the dishes is this food grade tubing that you use for like ice makers and stuff, and it's kind of rigid enough that it won't support a lot of weight, but like your typical plate and everything, it seems to do fine. And then what I used to hold it to the rack was just I stripped some solid electrical wire. It's pretty small diameter, that I could bend it easily around the thing, and we've run several loads of dishes in it. Seems to be holding up fairly well, so I just ran it along there. And so that's one thing. And next I'm going to try to remove the old coating and get it cleaned up, clean up the rust, and then to use some of the re-rack stuff to coat, hoping that I can make this rack last quite a bit longer. So the downside of that vinyl repair product is that it's pretty noxious stuff. Unfortunately, it's the winter time now, so it's probably too cold to do it in the garage. So I'm gonna just try it on a little section here and see how bad it is. I'm gonna wear my respirator and then go set the thing outside and see if it'll still work if it's cooler temperatures. So I cut one of these little bubbles, and you can see that it's got water inside there. So it's no wonder these things are rusting, because the water's being trapped between the metal and the vinyl, so it's obviously not doing any good. Okay, to remove the old vinyl, I just use these files. This one's round, this one's triangular, and a little razor blade and strips of sandpaper like that. And here's the section that I've cleaned off. I just wanted to do a smaller section so I could kind of test out how noxious this stuff was. And so here you can see kind of what it looked like before and then what it looked like after I cleaned it. It also says to use rubbing alcohol to wipe it down, make sure all the grease and everything is off of it, so that won't mess up with the adhesion. So as I removed the coating from some of these metal rods, there was significant thinning in some areas, and I was afraid that if I just didn't reinforce those, I would get more spots that look like that. So what I did was I just took this little brass rod, 1/8 inch diameter. You can see I have a section here that I used JB Weld on, and so I just epoxied that brass rod right next to the metal rod. So that's my attempt to reinforce it, and then I'll just apply the paint right over the top of that. So this is the JB Weld. It's a two-part epoxy that I've been using to repair this dishwasher rack, and you can kind of see in progress here. So this is a brass rod, 1/8 inch diameter rod, and I've just placed it alongside the piece that was rusted out, and I've epoxied it from the bottom, so that's why it's sticking there. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cover all of the exposed places on the top And actually, I've just decided to cover all of my, even over here where I'm not reinforcing it with the brass, but I'm just going to cover all of the rusted metal with the epoxy, and then I'm going to put the paint on top of that. And I'm using this this re-rack paint. So anyway, that's the program, and you can see I've done these spots down here and these spots over here. This is after all of the paint has been applied. It's a little bumpy looking and not as pretty as I had hoped, but hopefully it will be better, certainly, than what I had before. And so here is the dishwasher rack after a few runs, and I also decided to go ahead and put these strips of water tubing on, just to provide a little cushion for the plates so they're not banging on the, and I have them down here too, you can see. So the plates rest on them and it doesn't bang on the surface of the rods that I repaired. So anyway, hopefully that will help it to last even longer. So anyway, so far it seems to be doing fine. Thanks for watching.